it's so important to have that cash flow because you know what? Most of your money is made in the very last few months of the year. And if you can extend that and even add another 100, 200, 500,000 or $1 million worth of revenue over the winter, imagine how that impacts your whole year. Welcome to the Sales Made Simple podcast. This podcast is dedicated to helping overwhelmed outdoor living professionals, landscapers, and hardscapers just like you increase your closing rate to over 75% without doubling your workload so you can build a seven-figure business that doesn't need you. I'm your host, Joshua Gillow. Let's dig in. Hey, everybody, and welcome back. This week, we're going to talk about why ignoring off-season cash flow planning could crush your outdoor living business. Guys, we all know that we work in a seasonal world, seasonal business, at least we do here in Pennsylvania. And if we're not considering all 12 months of the year and how we can create cash flow in all 12 months of the year, we're doing ourselves a gigantic disservice. So this week, we're going to talk about, in this episode, what to do to create winter cash flow, why winter cash flow is so important to your overall business for the entire year, and also why snow plowing might not be the answer. So guys, stick with me here. This is going to be a fun episode. So I know when I started years ago that we had a business that ran 9 months in Pennsylvania. It got cold in the winter. We would do hardscaping, landscaping, lighting, all that stuff. We would do it usually from March till about December. And then come winter time, we would live on whatever monies we made over the summer and the other two seasons and come back into that springtime again, just skating in, pay the tax man, and we're off to the races with very little money in our account. Do it all over again, all over again, all over again. And we didn't have a lot of options for cash flow creation in the wintertime. We just didn't prioritize it. It just wasn't a thing. I actually liked the time off. We would go snowmobiling. We'd go hang out with friends. We would do all kinds of stuff. It was like we earned that throughout the year. All that hard work, we earned that time off. Problem is that every year the business suffered because of it. Now, we never really snow plowed because I couldn't understand how destroying a truck and all of that would make sense then to come the next year and fixing it with all the salt damage and just the wear and tear that happens in snow plowing. So we never took it on. It was a preference on our side. I know guys that make a lot of money. So if you're out there doing snow and you're pissed off, or hell, you're plowing snow right now during this episode and you're pissed off about this, I'm not here to piss you off. I'm simply here to offer you a different perspective on this. So for years, we went with that 9-month model, 3 months off, 9-month model, 3 months off. And, during the time, I never thought much about it, but I kept thinking like, man, it would be nice. Wouldn't it be nice if we could have cash flow in the winter? But I could never figure out how. As soon as the ground would freeze, we couldn't hardscape. The plants were all dormant. You couldn't dig in the ground. Like none of that made sense. So we would just take the time off. Well, over the years, decided that that's not going to be the future of our company. In order to get forward, in order to grow and to finally start making some money and not take all of our profits from the year and just support our lifestyle over the winter time, by finally starting to break that barrier, we started to add certain offerings to for our clients. For instance, adding decks, adding roof covers, adding different things that we could build above ground in the wintertime. That was a huge shift for us because in the beginning it was slow, but eventually clients would be like, hey, can you do this in the wintertime? And boulder walls might be another great opportunity depending on where you are. Things like that you could still work on machines, you could still work above the ground and still make money in the wintertime. So we offered these options out to our clients and it took a little time, but they eventually started picking them up and we started to become a full 12-month a year cash flow model and design, build, and eventually into design manage, where we could start offering these things, year round and not have to worry about timing so much. So I'm here today to offer you a different perspective. You can choose to take it. You can choose to leave it. It's totally up to you. But if you're currently feeling like you're spinning your wheels and working way too hard for 9 months, burning yourself out just to have 3 months off, what if life didn't have to be that way? What if you could actually make money year round in your business just by changing the way you think, just by offering other things to your clients that they need, want, and desire. And the way you do that is through your sales process, through communicating with the client of what your true what the true value and service you can bring to them, so they don't have to go chasing around a deck builder, roof builder, or that, boulder wall builder, whatever it might be. They don't have to go try to find that themselves, that you can offer all that under one roof and you can build straight through the winter. Now, again, if you're up in the, upper parts of the United States where it gets just brutally cold and everything shuts off, then this probably isn't for you. But I'm talking about for the majority of us that we get cold in the winter, but sometimes it's a bit warmer and you can still go outside and still work in the winter time physically. Even it might be cold, but you can still work, push a little snow off and continue construction. I offer this opportunity to consider adding those kinds of services to your portfolio. Now, if you're thinking, well, that means I got to go out and build the deck, or I got to go out and build the roof, I'm here to offer you another perspective shift that, there are a lot of people out there that do that and love doing that, and it doesn't have to be you. You can subcontract that out. You can have someone else do that they absolutely love this kind of work. They don't mind the cold, and you can come in and out as a project manager for that portion of the project. Heck, you can even have those clients wait until winter for those parts of that project so you can keep cash flow running. There are so many ways that you can make this work and create a 12-month of year cash flow model for your design, build, and or design manage business. The winter doesn't have to stop you. So what to do to create winter cash flow is to open your mind and figure other services out that you can do in the winter that'll provide cash flow that fit directly within your offering now. For instance, outdoor living, you can do a lot of stuff in the wintertime. It's something to consider as you move forward. Also, it's so important to have that cash flow because you know what? Most of your money is made in the very last few months of the year. And if you can extend that and even add another 100, 200, 500,000 or $1 million worth of revenue over the winter, imagine how that impacts your whole year. Imagine starting off with a huge win and be building in January and February and March, where you normally have very little income, or you're just collecting deposits for projects that all turn into an insanely busy spring. What if you could iron some of that out and iron out that busyness in the spring by bringing some of it into the winter and then create a cash flow model for yourself? Also, when it comes to snow plowing, again, I'm not a huge advocate of snow plowing. I know a lot of guys make great money doing it. When you put a snow plow in front of a truck and drive around and smash into piles of ice and all of that and curbs and those things, it beats the truck up hard. And when that happens, then there's more maintenance on that truck. So it's something you just have to consider in your pricing model to make sure that that vehicle or whatever vehicles you're using, that they are well accounted for, because there's going to be a lot of fixing that goes on in there. So I know a lot of my students come through Yes Express and they start off expressing to me that they would wish they didn't have to snowplow, that they wish they could be home with their families when the snow's flying, that they wish they could be enjoying the snow instead of being out there for 24, 36, 48 hours straight. And this kind of a model, when you start thinking cash flow outside of snow, you start thinking of other things that you can put into that model, i.e. above ground things like decks and porches and roofs and boulder walls and the like, that you can start adding a much higher level of cash flow over snow plowing, and someone else could actually be doing the work. Or you could even create your own teams that can do it too, and they can work outside as long as they don't mind the cold. But today, my bigger goal with this episode is to help a lot of the guys and girls out there that were like I was in the beginning, with constantly thinking that I was the only one that was able to do it. My teams had to do it, and they really just wanted time off in the winter and didn't like to be cold. And I found a whole nother group of people, teams that love the cold, love to be out there working, and just need opportunities. So if you have an opportunity with a client that needs a roof structure, deck, boulder wall, something in that category or those categories, and you don't want to do it, but you have somebody who can, then why would you say no? That's offering them an opportunity and you an opportunity to serve that client. So guys, I hope this was helpful this week. And ultimately, my goal for you is to create a 12-month of the year cash flow machine and closing projects, at least 75% of them, by offering clients what they truly need, want, and desire. And if you struggle with that, if you have a problem trying to unpack that for clients keep coming to you telling you exactly what they want, and now it becomes a bidding game on who can be the lowest price to bid whatever the heck they told you. If you're having an issue with that, that's the kind of stuff we help out with here at Yes Express. We help our students, the outdoor living, landscaping, and hardscape community, have a better communication with their clients so they can help them unpack what they truly need, want, and desire, not necessarily what they just tell them that they want. Clients try to shortcut this strategy by coming in and telling you exactly what they want so that they have a better idea of how they can bid equal apples to apples with other people. When you come in and start asking deeper questions, you're going to be surprised by how fast that client shifts gears and says, well, maybe that 10 by 20 patio that I wanted in the backyard that I thought was going to be a good solution really isn't a great solution. Maybe I don't even know if it'll fit my furniture. That's what I saw on HGTV this weekend. It seemed like it'd be enough space, but maybe it's not enough space for me. By asking deep questions and learning how to do that, slow the process down, and systemizing your sales process changes the game. I see it all around the country with hundreds of different outdoor living professionals that they've implemented the system, and to see them thriving now because they know how to ask questions there and their teams know how to ask the right questions has been some of the biggest blessing of my life. So guys, if that sounds like you and you need a little extra help, reach out, hello@yes.express. I would love to help you and discover what you're doing well and what things can be updated, and love to go from there. So book a call.